This mini motorbike was given to me by a subscriber of this YouTube channel, and I am going to use this mini motorbike to take on the hardest challenge that I have ever attempted on this channel, and possibly one of the hardest challenges I've ever attempted in my entire life. But before I tell you all about the challenge and the ground rules I've set myself for the challenge, I need to show you around this mini motorbike so that you can understand just how ludicrous a task I have set for myself. Now, we all know I like a challenge and I love a mini motorbike, but this is one of the strangest mini motorbikes I have ever seen. And it's strange for a couple of reasons. Firstly, it is supposed to resemble a mini chopper of some sort, which is quite strange for a little 50cc bike, because most of them are either a mini dirt bike like that one, or they're a mini super bike or pocket rocket, which looks a bit like one of these. This obviously looks nothing like either of those. I mean, it's got foot plates. It's supposed to be like a chopper of some sort. And the weirdness does not stop there. This thing has got twin rear wheels side by side. Almost like a trike, but not like a trike at all, because like over here, for example, the rear wheels are separated. On that, they are literally side by side, which is bizarre. Also strange compared to most mini motos, because on most mini motos you get the bare basics. You tend to get a pull start and a kill switch, and that's about as far as the electronics go. Like on this dirt bike, pull start, kill switch. That is about the limit of the electronics, usually on a mini moto. On this, however, you have got indicators, which are broken, but you've got them front and rear. There is a headlight, there is an instrument cluster, batteries, mirrors, there's even an electric start and a horn. And it has a battery under this fake fuel tank. It's almost like this thing was designed to go on the road, but it is a 50cc, and it's tiny, so I'm not even sure who would want to take it out on the road. Also, I'm pretty sure you cannot road register these things. They don't really come with a logbook or anything like that. And would you get an MOT on that? I absolutely don't think so. But who knows? Stranger things have happened. But I would say by far the strangest thing with this is the fact that it has two engines, or rather one real 50cc petrol engine, two-stroke, and a completely fake plastic V-twin engine that is purely there for decoration. It is literally just a plastic shell of an engine with nothing inside it. It even has a fake air filter housing. It even comes with a set of keys and a charging port to charge the battery, which is tiny and under here. It's just bizarre. So, as you can see, this thing is a pretty bizarre little contraption, but it's actually kind of cool in a really quirky, strange mini moto kind of way. So, next thing is to see if it runs or see what works and what doesn't, because obviously it was given to me by a subscriber, so thank you very much, Richie, because this is going to lead to some hopefully pretty awesome content, which I'm still going to tell you about shortly, but let's see for the time being what works and what doesn't. So, in preparation, I have already charged it up. I will put the key in, see if anything happens. Nope. It beeped at me. Nope. Okay, so even though I charged the battery up, nothing happened. Tried the electric start, tried all the lights, nothing happened. So, luckily, this thing has got a pull start on the engine as well, which, again, electric start and a pull start, not really seen that before. Well, I suppose it's no different to having an electric start and a kick start on something. So, let's see if anything happens when I pull that. Okay, so nothing from the battery, nothing from the electrics, and nothing from the pull start. So it does sound all right. I mean, it feels like there's compression in there, so hopefully there's no issue there. Let's check for a spark, and then we'll work our way from there. Okay, as you can see then, a little bit fiddly, but I managed to just about film it. Beautiful spark, so it's probably a fuel issue because I can imagine the fuel has been sat in this for quite a while. So I'm going to take that out. I'm going to put a little bit of fuel in the spark plug hole just to see if I can get it to fire up and start it off, and we'll go from there.
Huh? That's it. Sometimes we rewarm the plug. I just don't record.
Okay, so fired up a little bit there with a bit of persuasion from some fresh fuel directly into the spark plug. What that means, I'm probably going to have to take this cover off, drain the old fuel out of the tank, take the carb off, which is here, and just give that a bit of a clean up. And to do that, I'm probably going to have to take the fake engine out, which I'm not quite sure how to do that yet, but it's a fake engine, it's plastic covers, so it's just going to be a few screws, and that whole rubbish will come out. The tank cover is hilariously simple to remove. You take off the fuel cap, and the cover comes off. And unplug the ignition. Ta-da! We are left with a tiny little plastic fuel tank with some dregs of old fuel in it. So we just need to undo those two screws. That will come off, and then just need to take all this out of the way so I can get the carb off there. And just like that, I have removed half of the engine. Well, the fake hollow plastic engine anyway. Now, we need to get to the carb. And I need to take this cover off, and then I should be able to access the rest of it. Just like that, I have the smallest carb I've ever held in my hand. That is miniature. And I just emptied what was in here out, thinking it was a mixture of petrol and two-stroke. I mean, it was quite thick, so it looks like it was just two-stroke maybe. So I'm going to flush this through, flush the carb through, and make sure everything's clean inside there. And then we'll stick it back on and see if we can get something to go. So, fast forward. Carb has been cleaned up and cleaned out. Fuel tank has been flushed through and put back on with some fresh fuel and two-stroke in there. I have primed it. Let's give it a few pulls and see if it will run now. Okay, so it started first pull there. After a good clean through, it's now running absolutely fine. And it even rides, I mean, I got to take a bit of a running start to get it going with me on it, because it is not designed for someone of my height and weight. Ultimately, it's a kid's bike, and I can imagine a kid would have lots of fun on this thing. So before I start tackling the electrics, putting it back together and just generally giving it a good tidy up, let me tell you what this is all for and what the challenge is going to be. So my plan is to start with this little 50cc mini chopper and trade my way up bike for bike with no money involved whatsoever, other than for parts and fixing things, etc. But bike for bike swapping all the way up until I can get myself a Harley Davidson that is worth over £10,000. Now, I know that sounds absolutely ridiculous, and I do not care how many trades it takes. If I have to do over 100 trades, and if it takes me 2 years or more, I will do it, and I will keep filming it and putting it out there. So, you might be wondering why specifically I want to trade my way up to a Harley Davidson. Well, I'm starting with a little cruisery type looking thing. It seems fitting that when I end the trade up series, I end on one. And quite frankly, I really like Harley Davidsons. I like the look of them, I like the sound of them, and I don't really like to go that fast on a motorbike. So it would be my ideal bike. I mean, if I could have any bike, I would have a 114 Street Bob tomorrow, and I would be happy. But Harley Davidson, being Harley Davidson, they are pretty expensive, and you know where I am right now, I could not afford to just go and buy one. So logically, through the power of YouTube, I'm hoping I can get one by trading my way all the way up from that. Now, a lofty target, but maybe achievable. If it takes me 2 years, it takes me 2 years. I can film it all, and I can share the progress with you guys who watch my channel. So, we've seen the starting point, and I'm halfway there to get it in some sort of order where somebody might want to trade me for it. So, let's get the electrics working on that, get the broken parts replaced, and get that clean and looking somewhat tidy, and see if somebody wants to trade for it. So, the electrics, even though this is a mini moto, because it has a headlight, indicators, electric start, pretty much everything you would find on a normal bike, it has just as many cables and wires and different things as a normal bike. So, I'm going to start at the obvious place, which is the battery. Obviously, I left this thing plugged in for a couple of days, so that battery should be charged, but I am going to test it with a multimeter just to see where it's at. The battery is showing 7.44 volts, and it is a 12 volt battery, so that is a bit on the low side. That might be why nothing's working, but I thought I would have maybe got lights or something. But we're going to go ahead, charge that up for a bit, see if we can get some more life back into it. So I've tested the fuse in here, which is good. We know the battery is a bit flat, so rather than charging it up, I'm going to cheat. I'm going to put the jump pack on it and see if I can get something to go that way. And now it's making a hissing noise. Okay, so I've connected the ignition with the jump pack on it, and now if I press this switch, you get an indicator. You get the other indicator, which is broken, but generally the indicators work. Try the horn. Okay, there's a horn button, but the horn is not working. Headlight works. Kind of intermittently, but it works. And all importantly, the electric start. No. Okay, on a further test, you just need to press the horn button a bit harder, and that is loud. But still nothing on the electric start, so see if I can figure that out. So before I go any further with this thing, what I should probably do is put on the only new parts that I bought for the bike, and that is a set of indicators. They were £10.24 on eBay, and they will replace the ones that are on there because they're snapped. So, I mean, no one's going to want it. To maximize my trade value on this thing, it needs to be as good as possible, so those are going to need replacing. Okay, front one's on, rear one's on. A little bit of wire tidying to do, but they do work. So that is success. And just like that, with a bit of a skip forward, I have reassembled everything, including the fake engine parts. And weirdly, unlike everything else I do on this channel, that actually went to plan. So it is still a bit dirty. It definitely needs some love and some serious time spent giving it a good clean up and getting as much of that surface rust off as possible. But unfortunately, it's one of those things, because it's Chinese made, it's really cheaply built, it's never gonna look pristine because, well, they don't even look pristine leaving the factory. But I still think it's really cool. And once I have given it a good scrub up, I think it will look pretty good, and there is gotta be someone out there who will want that. But the question is there someone out there who will want it enough to trade me something that's potentially worth more than it? I don't know. Now, the ideal trade would be that somebody swaps that for like a broken pit bike or something. Hopefully not one that's as bad as the ones that I've done previously on this channel. But generally speaking, a non-running pit bike is worth, I don't know, maybe about £100, maybe as much as 150, which is the kind of category that falls in. I mean, I class all mini motors, as long as they're running and working, to be worth somewhere between that, £100 and £150. Whereas a running and riding pit bike is more sort of £200 to £300. So that is how I'm going to look to increase the value on each trade. I've got to trade a working bike for one that has a few issues, hence its value being lower than what it would be if it was all running, riding and fine. Now, as part of this series, I will be recording every penny I spend on repairs along the way so that we can see the value of money that I've input, where it's at against the value of the bike that I currently have. So for example, I have spent, what did I say, it was £10.24, I think it was, and I estimate that to be worth about £120 maybe, you know, once I've actually cleaned it and it's looking tidy. So when I do get to my end goal of a Harley Davidson worth £10,000 or more, it'll be really interesting to see how much money I've actually put in to get to that goal. Because obviously so far I had the bike for free. Thank you once again, Richie. And I've only put in £10.24 or whatever I said it was in the case of indicators. So I'm at a really good starting point, but obviously I'm at stage one. And whether or not this is even going to be possible to pull off, I don't know. But I sure as hell am going to give it my absolute best shot. Now, I am running out of time this week, so I'm not going to clean that bike up in this video, but I really wanted to get a good start and get this series out there and see what everybody thinks about my absolutely ludicrous idea. So please let me know in the comments if you think it's even possible I could trade my way from this to a £10,000 or more Harley Davidson, or let me know in the comments if you think that it is absolutely ridiculous and totally unachievable. Or if you have a project that could potentially be worth more than this, that you would be willing to swap me for this little mini cruiser, then please reach out to me. You can get me on Facebook at Sam's Auto Assortium, or also on Instagram, or reach out in the YouTube comments and we can arrange something from there. And if you like this video and you think the series is a good idea, then make sure you hit that like button. And if you are interested in seeing whether or not I can pull off this ridiculous challenge, then make sure you have subscribed to the channel so that you don't miss everything that is still to come with this challenge. And of course, I'll still be up to my usual shenanigans, buying and fixing junk that nobody else really wants. So again, make sure you're subscribed and you do not miss out on any of that. And until the next video, where hopefully I've cleaned and swapped this for something, then thank you so much for watching and I'll see you next week.